What's up, guys? In this video, where to stay in Lima, Peru. So whether you're a tourist, a digital nomad, or an expat, in this video you're going to learn the best neighborhoods for you in Lima, Peru, where to stay to maximize your experience. We harp on this in every where to stay video, but where you stay has basically the biggest factor, the most important factor in your overall experience in a particular city. And we try to get so granular down to literally the exact block where you can stay to maximize your experience depending on your goals. If you're single, maybe that's near the bars. If you're families, maybe that's near a mall or a big park, things like that. But in this video, we're going to break down the exact places where to stay and also where not to stay. So let's start with where not to stay. And I would say in Lima is one of those cities where there really is a few choice neighborhoods where you want to be. And if you're not in the choice neighborhoods, it's a pretty significant drop off in standard of living. And one place that people might make the mistake of staying is in the center. Okay, so there's the historic center, the Centro Histórico of Lima, Peru. And that really centers on this little square, this little rectangle here, where they have the Plaza Mayor de Lima. It's like 500 years old. It's super famous. There's a bunch of churches and convents. And so you might think, well, I want to be downtown. I want to be in the center, the historic center, so that I can be near these amazing tourist sites and all these museums. And I would say that Lima is one of those cities where you do not want to be in the historic center. Okay? There probably are a few nice hotels, but really, I would not recommend it. You're going to want to be near the water. Lots of people go to the historic center. It's a great place to visit. If you're a tourist, there's lots to do. There's lots to check out. There's churches, there's catacombs, there's historic hotels where you can drink a pisco sour and take really good photos for Instagram. But I recommend when you go do those things, just Uber into the historic center. It's really not going to cost that much money. So stay in some of the other neighborhoods that we're going to get to in this video. But when you want to go to the historic center, highly recommend just Ubering there, but not staying there. Okay? So what else? The airport is here, the international airport, and it's a city where the best neighborhoods to stay really are quite far from the airport. I guess that is always the case, but just keep in mind that when it comes to getting down to the best neighborhoods, which are San Isidro, I gotta say that once or twice, Miraflores and Barranco, you really are quite far from the airport. So let's see if I just put it in now, from Barranco, which I guess is arguably the farthest nice neighborhood from the airport. It's a 35-minute drive, and we're well past rush hour. So if it was rush hour, it could end up being much worse, right? 23 kilometers. So just keep in mind, maybe being close to the airport is something that you want to think about. And that's something that you can keep into consideration when we talk about the main three areas that you want to stay in Lima. So let's crack into the main three areas. So the number one place that people are going to tell you to stay is called Miraflores. It's really a pretty gigantic area. Like, this is many, many blocks, and Miraflores really has smaller sub areas. I'm not an expert in the sub areas of Lima, but looks like we got Luero, we got Surquillo, we got Santa Cruz over here, sorry. And there's this important area called Larcomar, which is this big outdoor mall that sits on the ocean. And so maybe one consideration that you might have in Miraflores is to be near Larcomar. It's a really big outdoor mall built into the sea cliff. There's tons of restaurants. There's gyms. Here's some photos of it. So it looks pretty cool. It's really first world. I believe it has the H&M, Zara, Sephora, all that good stuff. Tommy Hilfiger. It's got restaurants, and everybody knows where Larcomar is, right? It's got 54,000 reviews, and so staying somewhere maybe immediately near here could be a good fit. So you could maybe stay in the JW Marriott Hotel. If you're a tourist staying for a short period of time, or a business person, stay in the hotel, then you're going to be right near Larcomar. But really anywhere along this boardwalk here is nice. So it might be hard to tell from the map view and even from the street view. So we're gonna have to do a street view here, but really the whole ocean is lined by this really nice boardwalk in Miraflores. Also in Barranco, but really it's much nicer in Miraflores, where it's somewhere that you can come to run and walk and listen to the My Latin Life podcast. And it's really going to improve your experience in Lima if you stay close to the coastal parks so that you can go walk along the Malecon. Malecon means boardwalk, by the way, in Spanish. And I'm just going to use the general term boardwalk because there's so many sub-parks in here, right? There's the Chinese park, and it has one of those temple things, right? And, you know, there's cafes here in the park with good views. There's all these different parks, they're all different names. There's a lighthouse. So the number one area that I would tell you to stay overall, and it really is a good area for everybody, whether you're a digital nomad, an expat, or even a tourist, is to stay in Miraflores and to stay somewhere pretty close to the coast in here. Okay? And then coming down from Miraflores is another area called Barranco. And I always hear this as people say, don't stay in Barranco, don't stay in Barranco, stay in Miraflores. I'm not exactly sure why that is, because it really is quite nice. What it is, the vibe, is it's a little bit more hipster. It's more artsy, it's more hipster, and but it is really quite nice. It's quite built up. It still has some historic charm, as you can see from some of the architecture on the street view here. And a lot of the nicest restaurants are in Barranco as well. They're maybe on the more hipster side of the restaurant scene, but overall, like, it's really quite nice. There are some dodgy pockets of Barranco. It is, again, like a relatively large area, so maybe down here and further from the beach, it's not as nice. But anywhere near the beach and anywhere along this main strip, San Martin, definitely a totally nice area. And you have more kind of the cliff parks here, and we'll take a look and see some of the cliffront parks where you can come hang out and look at the mariposas, come look at the butterflies. Okay, so overall Miraflores is nicer. It's simply more upscale, and it has more Malecon, it has more boardwalk where you can go for a walk. And then it's kind of hard to get to Barranco. I understand that they're making another bridge here to sort of bridge these pedestrian neighborhoods, but you actually have to go all the way around. So if you're walking, it does kind of feel annoyingly separated, Barranco from Miraflores. Okay, so with that being said, the vibe in Barranco is a little bit more hipster. It's probably going to be a little bit cheaper, a little bit more younger scene, right? Artsy, all that type of thing. But I thought it was overall like a pretty nice area and somewhere I could definitely see myself staying, especially if I was single and I was interested in going to some bars. And if you're a family or you're looking for less noise, keep that in mind in Barranco, because there might be some noisy bars in some of the areas there. So moving on to the third and final nice area where you should stay in Lima, Peru, is called San Isidro. And this is really the international quarter. It's like the most high-end area of the city. I'm not sure why it's not giving us the classic red box. Okay, here we go. Yeah, we're finally getting the red box. So it's a pretty big area again, so there's lots of different aspects of it. But overall, this is the most international part of the city. It's really, really nice. Here you have the golf course, and then here you have these parks and a pedestrian walkway with olive trees, and it really kind of reminds me of Polanco in Mexico City. If anyone's been to Polanco in Mexico City, they know exactly what I'm talking about. It's like really nice, walkable parks, and this is honestly pretty rare in Latin America, so it's pretty cool that Lima, Peru has such organized, walkable parks, right? It's honestly more first world than you might have imagined. And yeah, there's lots of really nice hotels here. There's a couple historic sites as well. There's a couple of the pre-Hispanic pyramids. But overall, this is going to be one of the most international, clean, upscale parts of the city. Maybe this particular street view doesn't totally tell that story, but I'm telling you, it's high-end, it's nice. Like the sidewalks are in really good condition, as you can see here. Some of the best conditioned sidewalks I've seen in all of Latin America, to be completely honest. So Lima is a little bit surprising in that way. And this is San Isidro. So if you have embassy appointments, if you have business to conduct, that's like local Peruvian business, staying in San Isidro might be a better option for you if you don't want to be right on the coast, because your appointments are going to be super close. So maybe it's walking distance. You don't have to take an Uber. You don't have to deal with traffic. And yeah, so this is really the business and international center of the city, San Isidro. And if I even typed in the word embajada, that would probably give you an idea. So yeah, you can see like the embassies of the city really overlap quite a lot with being in San Isidro. Okay. All right. So just to conclude some of the main points of the video, you do not want to stay in the downtown Centro Histórico of Lima. You don't want to stay there. Where you do want to stay is one of these three main areas. We have San Isidro, which is the international inland neighborhood. It's away from the beach, but very nice, high-end embassies, business community, etc. And then we have Miraflores, which is the high-end area along the coast, the rich area along the coast with the great boardwalk where you can go walking. And then we have the third area, which is Barranco, which is also on the coast, a little bit more hipster. Some areas are a little bit dodgier, but it's overall kind of the younger area with bars and some fancy restaurants, and worth a visit to see the art and see some of the sights. And if you're younger, you might want to stay in Barranco. If you're a family or an older expat that doesn't care so much about the bars, then you can probably skip it and stay in Miraflores. Okay? So with that, those are the three places you do want to stay in Lima, and the one area that you don't. I hope you have a great experience in Lima. It's a city with a lot of history, a lot of culture, a lot of museums. If you asked me, how long should you stay in Lima? Is it worth a 1 month Airbnb? I would say it's absolutely worth a 1 month Airbnb in Lima. And by the way, the best time of year to stay or to visit Lima is going to be from roughly December to April. That's going to be summer in Lima. That's when it's going to be less gray, more sunny, more summer vibes. And so that's the best time of the year. And otherwise, the winter is quite gray. Most days of the year, the sun doesn't even come out. The sky is very gray. So it's really one of those cities where you really want to time your visit to go in the best months of the year, or at very least on the shoulder season. If you visit in winter, it's overall not a great experience due to the weather, but maybe you'll get some better deals because it's low season. I don't know. But yeah, overall, if you're going to do a 1 month Airbnb in Lima as a digital nomad, I would highly recommend in high season, December to April. So I hope you enjoyed this where to stay video in Lima, Peru. We have a whole series of where to stay videos that you can check out on our channel, and tons more of secret knowledge and important digital nomad information about Latin America. So if you enjoyed this video, please like, please subscribe, leave a comment. If you think there's something I missed, if you know any hidden gem neighborhoods in Lima or something like that, leave a comment and we'll definitely read them and share some good intel about Lima. Catch you in the next video.